Ash has been talking to Professor Oak, and Professor Oak is telling Ash these are the things that she really wants for his upcoming battle, and Ash simply nodded as Ash grabs his Pokemon, and we go back to Paul's perspective as he's talking to his brother Reggie, and he's also confirming with Paul that, are you sure these are the Pokemon that you want to battle with Ash? And Paul just simply confidently, as Paul simply waited out until the two trainers had to step forward as they're walking past in the arena, and everyone is quite excited because, especially Dawn and Ra, because these two have been battling out ever since the start of Sinnoh, and now that it's going to end in a climactic battle as the two simply patiently wait for the referee. As Paul sends out Infernape at the same time Ash sends out Pikachu to start the battle. As Pikachu is ready as its spot is checked ready for the battle, and Infernape is beating its chest as the referee calls the battle to begin, and immediately Ash is really using a powerful move, quick attack, trying to get Infernape caught off, but unfortunately Infernape doesn't seem to fall for them as Infernape just simply knows where Pikachu is going towards and quickly use a powerful flamethrower to cut off Pikachu's route, and Pikachu is unfortunately running into Infernape, and this Infernape is going for powerful close combat, but all of a sudden Pikachu managed to dodge away by spinning in the mid-air, and now it's behind Infernape, allowing Pikachu to strike fast with a powerful Thunderbolt, and Paul is preparing for this one as he commands for Infernape to counter with a powerful flamethrower. As the Thunderbolt seems to back up by Infernape's flamethrower, as the two move collide, it's sure to do a powerful smoke, and immediately Infernape is already in the front foot using a powerful flare blade. But Ash has to call out a Vortagger to counter as the two move collide one another, making a second powerful explosion. But unfortunately, Pikachu is back off by the powerful burst, but unfortunately Infernape just simply uses the to catch itself, and now it's going to the ground and simply attacks Pikachu behind her, and this time goes a flurry of punches with the elbow, uppercut, and the headbutt as Pikachu is sent across the battlefield like a ragdoll as Pikachu tries to catch his breath, as well trainer then calls for Iron Type and close combat, and surprisingly Pikachu managed to counter the fighting type move with every flag and allowing Pikachu to use quick attack to go underneath Infernape and catch Infernape with a powerful Thunderbolt. At this point Infernape is getting a little agitated and is getting to build up his blaze, but not at the moment because right now it's simply in frustration mode as Paul quick commands for powerful flare blades, and the Ash has the only way to counter flare blades with a powerful Vortagger, but unfortunately Infernape seems to overpower the mouse Pokemon so much that it simply plant Pikachu in the wall as Infernape is simply back off from it as Pikachu struggles to get on his feet but still refuses to go down, and after realizing Infernape is in a huge advantage over Pikachu, and not to mention Pikachu is here, meaning that the Pikachu is going to bat throughout the battle being born, but unfortunately it doesn't let Infernape to get anything back as it also is static, meaning that it's going to be much more slower, and after realizing this Ash simply recalls Pikachu back from the battle, and Pikachu quickly goes to Ash's side, and Ash is simply scratching Pikachu on the top of his head. Well done buddy, as Ash pulls out a Pokemon. You know Ash, after I watch you in this whole tournament pause, but unfortunately most of them aren't the level to the point where Infernape asks, what makes you think the Pokemon that you battle with me in like difficulty is enough to defeat me? And Ash just simply grins as he pulls out a Pokeball. Well then Paul, you're going to meet a Pokemon that I've been with for the longest time, and funny enough its trainer was pretty unlike you for abuse and see it as weak, while I on the other hand see it as much more potential, but he couldn't see that. But clearly you're much more different, Paul. But unfortunately the way how you treat your Pokemon is is uncommon of you. Well, I will show you what it truly means to raise a Pokemon. As Ash simply sent out a Pokeball, and all of a sudden the red beam seems to shut down and begin emerging from the Pokeball. A large lizard reptile appeared as it seems to be Charizard blowing up its powerful flamethrower in the air, determined to defeating anyone that it tries to meet, and Charizard reaches Infernape's glare, and Paul is seen to smoke the bed. This might be an actual challenge, as once the referee begins the battle, as Infernape quickly runs through the battlefield with a powerful blitz, but unexpectedly Charizard and Ash doesn't attempt to do anything, but once Infernape crashes into Charizard, it doesn't try, but Charizard surprisingly managed to grab on into Infernape and then leash upon a powerful wing attack close quarters, allowing it to do powerful attack towards Infernape. And Charizard isn't stopping down attack, as Charizard simply flies up to Infernape with a powerful Dragon Claw, and Paul has to quickly command for counter with a powerful, trying to attempt to parry the attack with a powerful close combat as the two Pokemon exchange versus below close quarters, but unfortunately Infernape is still very much slower thanks to status, allowing Charizard to overwhelm Infernape with a powerful vicious slash as Infernape is sent across the battlefield, but everyone is going silent because Infernape is beginning to lose it because its eye is going smaller and its fist is unraveled as Infernape's blaze on top of it begins to grow brighter. But as Ash is in Charizard expecting for a huge battle, Paul simply returns Infernape, and Ash is taken aback but quickly remembers that if Paul simply returns Infernape, and Infernape can't have his frustration out is going to make him more angry, meaning it's going to be his base is going to be much more stronger. As Paul simply sends out Gastrodon to battle. As Ash wanting to keep the momentum by his side, as Ash commands for Charizard to do a powerful flamethrower, as Charizard goes in the air, taking the advantage on the different battlefield in the air and launching a powerful flamethrower towards Gastrodon, but like expected, Gastrodon seems to take the damage pretty well, and thankfully being a much more tanky Pokemon, allowing it to attack towards Charizard with a powerful Muddy Water. As Charizard is completely emerged with the water, brutally doing major damage to water, but Charizard is still flying up in the air, still in the battle as Charizard tries to cast Gastrodon with a powerful flapping its huge wings, attempting to do some damage, but Gastrodon yet again is still holding up strong, and then Paul simply commands for an ancient power, and Gastrodon is commanding huge pillars of rock and aiming towards Charizard, and Charizard density is attempting to avoid most of the attack, but unfortunately the Mighty Water seems to blind its vision, allowing a few ancient powers to be attacked Charizard, but it's super effective against it as Charizard is struggling to fly up in the air, and not only that, Paul seems to call out Gastrodon to use her recover as Gastrodon instantly is regaining some lost health from Charizard, and Ash desperately tries to think of something but quickly tries for a powerful Dragon Claw, attempting to do some damage while Gastrodon is trying to recover, as Charizard managed to land a critical hit with a powerful Dragon Claw, but unexpectedly Charizard is caught by a weird thing, while Ash exactly remembers that Gastrodon is using Counter Shield, as it's revealed that Paul is copying Ash's style because it works so well, and Charizard is caught from the attack as Charizard is desperately getting some distance away from Charizard, and as realizing Charizard is beginning to breathe heavily and deciding not wanting to lose his best Pokemon, he calls Charizard, and thinking what he should approach Gastrodon, decided the best approach is to attack as fast as possible, and sending out a one counter that might do the job as Ash sends out Heracross to battle. As the referee continues on the battle, Paul is still having the event stage, and Star is controlling the battlefield, trying to spread the battlefield with a powerful muddy water as Gliscor is filling the battlefield, but luckily for Ash and Heracross, Heracross is a much more smaller target compared to Charizard, allowing it to whip through the text without much thought. As this allows for Heracross to get close enough for Gliscor down to the point where Heracross could land a powerful Mega Horn, and compared to Charizard attacks which mostly did not, thanks to Gliscor resisting most of the attack, as Heracross on the other hand is one of Ash's strongest hitting Pokemon, allowing it to do some major damage towards Gastrodon. And to the point where Gastrodon is taken aback, allowing Heracross to do some powerful close combat, taking the opportunity for facing up against a slower target, and Paul is beginning to worry as he commands for Gastrodon to blast Heracross away with a powerful mud shot as Gastrodon shoots out muddy waters towards Heracross to the point where a mud shot seems to cover Heracross's eye, which is trying its best trying to clean off, but clearly is struggling so much with the fact that Heracross doesn't know where the attacks are coming, allowing for Gastrodon to land a powerful ancient power after ancient power to the point where Gastrodon is getting an army boost, increasing its stats even further and allowing for Gastrodon to attack, even trying to recover from Heracross, while Ash is trying to get Heracross to stay focused as Heracross managed to stay calm. While Paul is taking the opportunity for another free hit, commanding for a powerful muddy water until Ash has an idea that he commands for Heracross to take the attack, and surprising anyone in the battlefield as Heracross is trusting its trainer, taking the damage, but unexpectedly the muddy water, even though it seems to be muddy, it's still water, allowing for Heracross to clean out its eye from the mud, allowing Heracross to see, and pretty angered by this Pokemon as Heracross simply flies up in the air using Arrow Ace to boost up its speed, attacking Gastrodon multiple times, and in fact so much so it's landing, trying to aim a powerful Mega Horn, and Paul desperately tries to stop it with a powerful muddy water shield, but Ash commands for Heracross to aim low, and Heracross managed to dodge most of the muddy water, but once it lands on the Mega Horn, but unfortunately it's directly underneath it, meaning it's completely missed, and allowing for Gastrodon to land a powerful muddy water until Heracross simply lifts up its huge horn, and a merge of brilliant power coming off of Mega Horn as Heracross releases a powerful Mega Horn, making the ground to burst with energy, and this shakingly move managed to get Gastrodon off its feet and land it very awkwardly to the point where it simply is knocked out from the man's pressure from Heracross, leaving Paul his first Pokemon to be out from Heracross. Ash is feeling a bit confident to the point where Heracross is tackling Ash in perfection, but quickly gets back into battle because the battle isn't over, and Paul simply pulls out a Pokemon that should get the job done, as he sends out Ninjas to battle, as this is going to be a bug versus bug, and Heracross seems to be excited about it, as Ash calls out for Heracross to do a powerful close combat, trying to end this as soon as possible, knowing that Heracross hasn't much left in the tank, but Ninja seems to dodge out of the way, and Paul is simply commanding for a sword stance as Ninja is doing a little dance, boosting its attack even further, and Ash knows that Ninja is going to hit hard just as powerful as Ash. The desperate commands for a power for aerial ace, but unfortunately Ninja is very a speedy Pokemon, allowing him to move away from Heracross's attack multiple times, and Paul begins to command for Ninjas to do a sword dance once again, and this is weird for Ash because Paul hasn't even attempted to attack, and once Heracross tries to desperately hit her head, as Ninjas once again is using sword dance to increase further until Paul simply uses commands for Ninja to use Baton Pass as the Ninja Pokemon retreats to Paul's Pokemon and then reveal another to be a powerful Drapion, and Ash is confused about the move until Ash quickly found out that this large Drapion seems
to be much more slower than ninjas, but Ash is still confident he should knock out this Drapion, as Ash comments for powerful close combat, but unexpectedly Drapion seems to took the damage pretty well until Drapion seems to land a powerful cross poison, and this move unexpectedly simply one-shot Heracross and send him through the battle like a ragdoll, as Heracross is the first Pokemon in his Ash's party to be knocked out. Ash knows for a fact that Heracross is very severely damaged, but not to the point where it could be in one shot, because as Ash expects, until Paul explains the Ninjas has been boosting up with swords, then those boosted move is passed to Drapion thanks to Pawn Pass, as Ash is facing up against a Pokemon with the highest attack boost from Ninjas, as Ash isn't sure who to send out. He could try to send back into Charizard, but he's not sure if Charizard at this point is fully rested, and deciding to send out his other tougher Pokemon in the battlefield and trying to get in a defense, trying to send out a more defensive one as Ash sends out Torterra to battle, as Torterra looks upon Paul and wanting some payback, and once the referee begins the battle, and Ash commands for the hit as hard as possible with a powerful earthquake, and Drapion has no other choice but to take on the attack, while Paul is similarly calm and commanding for Drapion to use a powerful poison spike, as Drapion is shooting out the battlefield with poison spike, but it seemingly it does nothing at the meantime, leaving Ash confused. But unfortunately, once Torterra tries to use an energy ball direct towards Drapion, but unfortunately Drapion seems to move out of the way and land a powerful Dark Pulse aiming directly towards Torterra, putting it in a back foot, as Torterra is so taken aback by Drapion's power as it gives Drapion with a powerful cross poison, which is so effective damage towards Torterra, and once Paul is not letting anything go down, as Paul once again commands for Drapion to do a powerful cross poison. Then unexpectedly Torterra is using a powerful Giga Gem to cause Drapion because of it, allowing Torterra to regain some additional health back, as Drapion is forcing itself to get back from Torterra, which gives Torterra enough room to land a powerful energy ball, as Drapion took the damage, and to this point it's a very slugfest Pokemon, launching powerful moves until one of them gets knocked out, but luckily Torterra is taking on that damage, even though Drapion is boosted by Sword Stance, allowing Ash to get some momentum back, until Paul simply calls for powerful Excessor, but not towards Torterra but to the ground, to enough that Drapion's Excessor managed to launch a few rocks in the air, and no one managed to land on Torterra a few times, enough to get Torterra to be stunned for a moment, allowing for Drapion to do a powerful Dark Pulse, which critically hurts Torterra, as Ash tries to call out a move, as unfortunately Torterra is still flinching, allowing for Drapion with a powerful cross poison, and Ash calls for a Giga Drain counter shield, as Torterra opens its eyes up and commanding its Giga Drain to swirl around itself, which unfortunately for Drapion is caught by the giant shield as it's draining into Torterra, until Ash commands for a powerful earthquake, as Torterra slams its huge legs into the ground, as this time being a much more super effective, especially very close to Torterra, managed to knock out Drapion before it becomes a menace to Ash's rest of his team, as Paul simply pulls out his hand unemotionally and returns Drapion back to his Pokeball, as Paul simply returns to the battlefield to Torterra, and realizing Torterra might be an actual problem, because he didn't expect for Torterra to grow this strong after evolving into a Grotto, as Paul simply sent out his newest member in his
Pokemon recently caught, sending out a powerful Metagross to battle. As Ash resisting that Paul has a pseudo legendary Pokemon, it makes him feel nervous and looks upon Torterra, realizing Torterra took more injuries than expected, and decided that Torterra should return back to heal out. As Ash decides which Pokemon he should send out, currently he could easily send out Charizard right now, but this is a pseudo legendary Ash is talking about, so he is making sure and knowing that these types of species could very hit hard, decided that Ash is not going to take this battle much more slower because he knows that Paul has some tricks on his sleeve, as Ash simply sent out his biggest Pokemon, sending out Snorlax to battle, as Snorlax is waking up greeting Ash until unexpectedly Snorlax seems to be poisoned, and Ash is taken aback by this because the battle hasn't even started until Paul points out that it's a little kid thanks to Drapion. Every time Ash keeps switching Pokemon in the battlefield, his Pokemon will be poisoned thanks to Toxic Spike. As Ash realizing that his tank Pokemon might be knocked out because of the poison, but luckily Ash just needs to play smart, and once the battle begins, Paul immediately wants to take control of this battle and commanding for Metagross to land a powerful bullet or punch as Metagross simply is in front of Snorlax and already did a strike across Snorlax, which pretty much unfazes Snorlax as commands for a powerful body slam, but unfortunately for Snorlax, Metagross seems to manage to dodge out of the way and landing a powerful Zen headbutt, which again seems to unface Snorlax very little, allowing for Snorlax to curl up its face and land a powerful ice punch, which pretty much does nothing towards a steel type like Metagross. And it seems like these two seems at an even footing until Snorlax feels a slight nudge from the poison, and Ash is very cautious about it, but not too deterrent about it. As Paul is deciding to pick up a notch commanding for Metagross to use agility, as Metagross is simply boosting up his speed even though he is already dominant because of Snorlax, but it doesn't stop Paul for commanding for powerful hammer arm, which gets Ash to respond because it's a fighting type move and Snorlax might just feel that attack as Snorlax managed to caught on its trainer and managed to barely dodge out of the way, but then launching a powerful Shadow Ball, which does affect Metagross in some way, but unfortunately Metagross is already ready for the next attack with a powerful hammer arm, which leaving Snorlax to be feeling sore until Paul commands for another agility, boosting its speed even further as Metagross begins to land powerful bullet punch after bullet punch. To put that, Snorlax could barely react to that as Ash realizes he needs to be patient if he wants to get Metagross out, and so Metagross made a small mistake as Snorlax tries to use a powerful Zen headbutt, but at the same time Snorlax notices and timing his body slam to the point where once Metagross lands its headbutt against Snorlax, which Snorlax is already in a body slam position, slamming its full weight against Metagross, and Metagross is feeling the attack, but unfortunately Snorlax is beginning to feel the poison, and to the point where Snorlax is getting a bit frustrated by it, and Paul begins to not stop using a powerful hammer arm after hammer arm until Ash commands for Snorlax. This might be risky, but there's a good chance that Snorlax might be coming back as he commands for Snorlax to use rest, as Snorlax falls back and beginning to heal itself from the attack. Not only that, it seems to heal from the poison, but unfortunately it gives Paul the opportunity to command Metagross to do powerful hammer arms after hammer claws multiple times, forcing Snorlax to get out from that attack, but
managed to recover some health from it as Ash commands for powerful Shadow Ball as Snorlax is only ranged move launching the powerful Shadow Ball. Unfortunately, Metal Grass is simply the fastest thing managed to move out of the way and landing for a powerful Bullet Punch until Ash managed to command a counter with a powerful Shadow Ball, which times correctly towards Metal Grass's Bullet Punch, hitting the Shadow Ball exploding up to its face. Once in a current, a powerful explosion covers the battlefield in smoke as Metal Grass is unable to see where Snorlax is until Snorlax appears from the smoke and launching itself with a powerful body slam, slamming its forward against Metal Grass, and this seems to paralyze the legendary Pokemon. They mean its speed boost is somewhat useless at this point because once our Paul commands for powerful Zen Headbutt as flinch managed as the paralyzed hacks begin to get to Metal Grass unable to move, giving Snorlax a powerful second body slam to the point where Metal Grass is simply shaking its head trying to get some recover until Paul simply recalls back Metal Grass and sending back Infernape, and Infernape is quite angry because this whole time Infernape is unable to put his rage to something until it sees to Snorlax and personally grin and commanding for powerful close combat, and Ash couldn't react fast enough as Infernape seems to do major damage towards Snorlax, managed to knock out the large giant Pokemon down with one move. As Ash is forced to recall back to Snorlax and look upon Infernape and feeling the regenerate back to it. As Infernape against the wanting for Ash to send out the next Pokemon, then unexpectedly Possum returns back Infernape as this is Paul Foster wants to preserve Infernape as long as possible because he knows for a fact Infernape will be the key to his victory here. Once Ash is deep until the referee has to force Ash to send other Pokemon. Once Ash is snapped out his thought, he sends out another Pokemon, but this time a bit more fresher Pokemon in the battle, sending out Galarian to battle, and Paul wanting to keep his resolve, sending out Ninjas to battle because he knows that Ninjas hasn't took any significant damage from Ash's Heracross. As the battle begins, Gally once he's floating in the battlefield, even though Gally realistically shouldn't be touching the ground, but unexpectedly the poison spikes does affect Gally in a weird way, forcing Gally to took the poison and leaving Paul for a free sword stance as Gally is helplessly watching Ninjas powering up. But once Ninjas is finishing off boosting its power, Gally doesn't waste any time unleashing a powerful Ice Beam attack, but unfortunately like last time, Gally's attacks couldn't hit Ninjas because Ninjas is such a speed Pokemon that it's becoming a blur or making very hard to land on some sort of target against Ninjas, as Ninjas is simply taking a free hit from excesses and a powerful acrobatics each time that in fact Ninjas is doing so much over and over again as Gally is beginning to struggle a bit until Ash quickly thought of a crazy strategy as Ninja simply is powering up again with a second sword stance. As Ash commands for Gally to use Ice Beam but not towards the Ninja, aiming to the sky as Gally simply shot out beams randomly, but suddenly the beam is hitting some sort of small pebble that's picking up in the air, and all of a sudden a huge pillar of ice is crashing down at Ninjas, forcing for Ninjas to not taking its priority to do damage against Gally, but trying to dodge out the huge ice pillar, which gives Gally with a huge advantage as Ash commands for powerful headbutt as Gally smashes his thick skull head against Ninjas, and unfortunately Ninjas has a great speed, but unfortunately its weakness is being hit, meaning that Ninjas is some sort of glass cannon and Paul knows it, so Paul wants to get get Glady down as possible. His ball commands for access, but not towards Glady, but to the ground, as Ninja simply attacks on the ground, and suddenly huge rocks is jumping off of the ground into the air force. And not only that, Paul commands for ninjas to send them towards Glady, as Ninja simply pushes the large boulders into Glady, which is taking the most significant damage because it's super effective against an ice type, forcing Glady to take the front foot of it. And so Glady had enough of it, as Ash can feel is getting tired of this battle, as Ash commands for Frost Breath, as Glady simply isn't aiming towards Ninja but in the air, creating a small fog across the area, as Ninja is forced has to look around until Glady is a bit in front of it in his icy domain, landing a powerful ice wind that just simply gets ninjas out of the battle, as Paul has a third Pokemon out, as Paul returns it back to its Pokeball, and Ash pretty tired of Glady, but Paul isn't giving up, as Paul sends out Electabuzz to battle, as Ash is beginning to feel himself hype, as Ash commands for a powerful Ice Beam, but unfortunately Glady is executing the Ice Beam much slower, and Ash quickly realizes Glady has been annoying this poison this whole battle because its anger is more towards Ninja, and since Ninja is no longer battlefield, Glady could no longer ignore poison and executes Ice Beam much more slower, allowing Paul to cover for a Light Scream, as Electabuzz simply dodged out the way and managed to pull off Light Scream without any damage towards it, but luckily Glady managed to get off a powerful Frost Breath, which does significant damage but not much, as Electabuzz seems to take care of the damage, and Electabuzz simply curls up its punch and charged towards Glady with a powerful Thunder Punch, as Glady counters with a powerful head, but unfortunately Glady took him so much damage that Glady is spinning in the air, as once Ash commands for Glady to use Ice Beam, as unfortunately Glady keeps missing over and over again, and Electabuzz seems to get closer and closer, and Ash realizes it's useless because Glady would never hit Electabuzz if the poison is going to keep affecting him aiming, until Ash quickly realizes if he's not going to take down Electabuzz, he's going to set up for his next Pokemon, and Ash commands for an Ice Beam towards to the ground, and Glady switched down Ice Beam, but unfortunately could not stop, as Electabuzz is already in front of it using a powerful Brick Break, and this nearly one-shots Glady to the ground, leaving Glady to be unconscious, as Electabuzz seems wants to celebrate a little, but quickly realizes most of its leg is covered on ice in the battlefield, giving Ash from the bigger outfit. As Ash is looking at Electabuzz, who is struggling to get free himself from the ice, as Ash happens anytime and sends out his most healthiest Pokemon out of the battle, sending out Pikachu, and unfortunately Electabuzz is gonna struggle to free itself from the ice to free his leg, as Ash commands for Pikachu to take this opportunity with few powerful Iron Test and Quick Attack, and Electabuzz is helpless to avoid most of the damage. He tries to hit back Pikachu with a powerful Thunder Punch or Brick Break course, but the mouse Pokemon managed to use his speed to manage to dodge most of the attacks, and Pikachu is taking powerful critical hits against Electabuzz, and this gets Electabuzz to be quite angered, and it just fires off Thunderbolt randomly, and that's managed get him enough to free himself. But until Electabuzz begins to fire himself up, Paul simply stops Electabuzz and call him to return back, as Electabuzz seems to be disappointed, as Paul returns back to Electabuzz and sending out the Metagross to battle. And the battle begins, and immediately the two Pokemon are meant for a speed battle, and it shows that Metagross, even though is much more tankier, but its greatest advantage is power and speed, and Pikachu lacks the power but does have more speed than Metagross, allowing for Pikachu to have the momentum by himself, as Pikachu is freely to shot out powerful Thunderbolt, and Metagross is forced to take damage, but as soon as Pikachu finishes the Thunderbolts, Metagross simply left a powerful Metal Punch a few times as Pikachu retaliates with his own Iron Tail, but unfortunately Metagross seems to power through with a powerful Zen headbutt as Pikachu is forced to take it and sending on flying, and as quickly does as Paul commands for Metagross to use up for a powerful hammer in the air as Pikachu is spinning, and Ash calls for a counter here as Pikachu manages to spin itself so much that it produces the strongest thunder shear that it could do, as Pikachu managed to catch Metagross in an electric vortex, which stuns Metagross for a moment as Pikachu is greeted with a powerful vortex as Pikachu is flying down and using the gravity to its momentum as Pikachu is spinning with a powerful blitz as Pikachu lands viciously down at Metagross. It managed to do major damage to Metagross, perhaps the first time throughout the battle, as Pikachu simply rocket itself from the floor back to Metagross, but this time with a powerful vortex as Pikachu took a slam itself Metagross for a second time until Metagross had enough and returned Pikachu with a powerful Zen attack of its own as the two moves clash as it sparked the area in beginning to crack for the ground as the two moves simply cancel each other out and the two begins to repeatedly spin fly in the air as Metagross is taking its advantage while Pikachu has to quickly avoid most of the damage as Metagross quickly tries to hit Pikachu with a few bullet punch, but unfortunately as Ash quickly realized something that this could be crazy but much might be worth it. As Ash commands for Pikachu to spin directly towards at Metagross as Metagross tries to use all of its power with a powerful armor on slamming towards Pikachu, but unfortunately Pikachu managed to get out of the way as Metagross slams its arm against the wall, allowing Pikachu to launch the most strongest thunderbolt that the crowd and Paul and Ash has ever seen, managed to the point where Metagross couldn't take it anymore and simply fell unconscious as Forrester simply turns back to Metagross, and as he's feeling pretty pumped that Pikachu is managed to pull off a huge decisive win, but quickly realizes Pikachu is beginning to be very tired, and Ash hasn't realized that the whole battle Pikachu is taking poison from poison spikes as Pikachu is nearly at death's door and doesn't get Paul convincing enough to send out Electabuzz as Pikachu tries to use its speed again, but unfortunately Electabuzz simply gets Pikachu with a powerful thunder as Electabuzz simply one-shot Pikachu in the process as Ash has two Pokemon left. Compared to Paul, especially the two that Paul has are fully fresh and haven't took much of the battle, and Ash has to watch out for Infernape. Ash could try to send out Torterra for an easy advantage, but it feels like if Ash and Torterra has some ground against Electabuzz, Paul could just simply free switch Electabuzz for a powerful counter with Infernape, leaving with no other choice. Ash has to send out Charizard here, as Charizard sent out in the battlefield and feeling much more better and wants some payback as he's facing up against Electabuzz as Charizard simply runs ready for the heated battle.
As Charizard and Electivire see each other cross the battlefield like an unspoken between them, the two immediately begin to grapple each other, trying to see who is physically the stronger of the two, but it's clear that Electivire does have the upper half strength, as Charizard does have weaker arms, but Charizard took his advantage with his large wings as the grapple quickly becomes a mid-air, as Charizard is immediately having the advantage as Paul commands for Electabuzz to use a powerful thunder, as Charizard has no choice but to endure the thunder, but quickly launches with his own powerful flamethrower at close quarter, forcing Electabuzz to try to break itself free instead of trying to damage it, and including Charizard getting the two free each other as the two simply stare as Charizard quickly rushes in with a powerful air slash as Electabuzz took the damage but quickly lands a powerful thunder punch as Charizard simply barely dodged out the way, and then
Charizard simply flies back in with a powerful Dragon Claw as Electabuzz simply stops it with a powerful Light Scream. And even though Dragon Claw doesn't do any some sort of effect to stop Charizard from hitting Electabuzz. But by once Charizard tries to fly back in with a powerful flamethrower, it isn't as effective, allowing Electabuzz to freely launch a powerful thunder, but Charizard of course is caught by this. At this point, the two Pokemon is beginning to have a huge brawl fest, as it's clearly that there is no strategy between the two, as it's simply of pure power, and it's greatly shown. Even though Charizard is poisoned, Charizard had a great opportunity to heal itself from the previous battle, compared to Electabuzz, who did took damage from Pikachu and couldn't defend itself, meaning these two is completely equal, and it's all up to that trainer trying to find a way to away with one, as Charizard just simply goes in with a powerful flamethrower, and Electabuzz seems to counter with a powerful thunder as the two moves collide, as the two begins a grapple once again, but quickly let itself go because the two immediately tries for a Dragon Claw and a powerful Thunderbolt, as the two simply exchange powerful blows until it begins another powerful Thunder Punch and another Dragon Claw, and Charizard simply back itself away with a powerful S slash, giving Charizard enough breathing room for a powerful flamethrower, and Electabuzz seems to use his attacks from the back of his tail to strike in the ground and use a powerful thunder, which does cause the flamethrower to stop, and not only that it gives Electabuzz a plus as the rock is simply up in the air and forcefully has to fall back in, as the rock simply flies over hits or even hit Charizard on top of his head, leaving disorientated, as giving Electabuzz a powerful thunder, as Charizard once again is beginning to feel the effects from the previous battle and feeling that he could be knocked out, leaving Charizard and Ash to look at each other and simply not knowing what exactly they need to do to end this, as Electabuzz is beginning to charge up with electricity throughout his body as he begins to shoot thunderbolts at the thunder afterwards, forcing Charizard to briefly move throughout the battlefield and merely grab Electabuzz, and Bob doesn't know what's going on as he tries to command Electabuzz to free himself with a powerful thunder until Charizard lets go, but unfortunately the lizard refuses, as Charizard is beginning to spin around Electabuzz in a circle, and until Bob quickly realizes this Charizard is about to throw Electabuzz pretty hard, and Paul commands Electabuzz to free himself with a thunder, but unfortunately Charizard is beginning the momentum to the point where Electabuzz couldn't no longer produce any thunderbolt because it's spinning its head until Charizard knows that there is enough momentum, as Charizard simply crashes down Electabuzz, sending across the battlefield, as Electabuzz is unfortunately knocked out, leaving for one more Pokemon left, and Charizard simply breathes fire in the air in victorious. But even though it struggles to stand up or even fly in the matter, because the thunderbolt that he's been taking was too much for a flying type like Charizard, and not to mention the poison is beginning to feed itself to Charizard, and once boss sends out Infernape is simply silent, and once he glares at Charizard, Infernape begins to growl like a primal ape ready to strike its next enemy, and once the battle begins, the two exchange powerful flamethrower, and this continues on, but unfortunately Charizard is slowing down the flamethrower, giving Infernape his flamethrower to push through and hit directly towards Charizard, as Ash commands for Charizard just to be in the air some sort of breathing room, but unfortunately Inferno doesn't give up, as the monkey just charges in. Even if his opponent is in the air, he just simply jumps over and jumps until he gets higher, to the point where Inferno accidentally ignites itself into a powerful blast, and once Charizard tries to grab tackle, but unfortunately Inferno is beginning to be too fast, and this is beginning to the point where Infernape is beginning to activate its Blaze ability, and Ash could know that. And Ash has one more crazy idea. Even though Charizard is pretty much weak at this point and doesn't have any power left to hit Infernape, but Ash doesn't need power, as if rapidly can just do all the work. And once Paul commands for powerful Blaze and Infernape tackles Charizard once again, but unfortunately Charizard doesn't fall out like last time, but simply grapples and attempting to fly up again and trying to use a powerful seismic toss, but unfortunately Infernape is stronger, doesn't allow that. And Charizard doesn't have a strong grip like Electivire, allowing Infernape to free himself and begin to use a powerful close combat close quarter, to the point where Infernape uses Charizard to let to do most of the damage once they fall downwards, as Infernape is over Charizard, as Infernape commands for everyone to acknowledge that he is the strongest fire type Pokemon in this league. As Ash simply returns back Charizard back to his Pokemon, Ash is pretty proud what Charizard did for him and the team, and he won't let his sacrifice in vain. And Ash simply looks at Infernape across the battlefield, and Infernape just simply says, "Bring the next victim," as Ash unmotionedly just sends out Torterra as the two Ice begin for the next death battle. And once the referee continues the battle, the two simply says, as Ash calls for an energy ball, and Paul simply calls for a powerful flamethrower. As the two moves collide one another, but unfortunately Infernape managed to overpower the energy ball, and the flamethrower managed to reach at Torterra, but unfortunately for Infernape, Torterra is specifically trained to resist most fire type moves, but unfortunately since the battle has been heating up, and especially since Infernape is in blaze mode, to the point where Torterra could no longer ignore the fire and actively move out of the way and land a powerful earthquake, as Infernape has no other way to avoid the move up to move, but unfortunately it does make the earthquake to make Infernape into a strongest stage of blaze, as Infernape is molten hot, as Infernape is simply quite angry that it just simply runs in all four like a savage animal, wanting just to attack the Pokemon, as Ash quickly commands for a powerful Stone Edge, as Torterra managed not to attempt to damage Infernape, but to entrap him, forcing Infernape to stop it and gets his focus on trying to free itself. But unfortunately, as Infernape is too distracted to get out of the Stone Edge, as he didn't notice that Torterra is sneaking up behind Infernape, allowing him to hit a powerful Giga Drain, which the move grapple on Infernape and is forced to take the move, as Torterra is beginning to get his health back. And Paul quickly realized that if Infernape isn't out of this situation, it could be devastated, and until something snaps, as Infernape is beginning to feel all the memories that every Pokemon that he ever met he was defeated and never wanted to feel weak ever again. And he looks towards Torterra until he realizes that he's looking at the Zangoose, but just much more bigger. And this gets Infernape to be quite angry, to the point where Infernape just brute force himself free out of the Giga Drain and uses the Blaze to free himself, to the point where Torterra and Ash is taken on backfire, and Paul is witnessing this tremendous spell that Paul has never seen the stage of Blaze before, as Paul realized that Infernape is such a critical state that Infernape seems to be unstoppable. As Paul commands for Infernape to destroy Torterra with a Flare Blast, as Infernape somehow in his frenzy rage simply nods at his trainer and simply essentially attack Torterra in all sides, combining with Blaze and close combat to simply hit Torterra where it mostly hurts, where Torterra has forcibly had to take upon the most devastating move, as once Infernape begins to stop, only wants to stop if Torterra begins to stop moving, and Infernape quickly notices that as Torterra seems to be knocked out, as Infernape just simply walks away, and the referee was going to give the winner to Paul until Torterra yells out its name as Torterra begins to struggle to stand up, and Ash commands Torterra to stop. He doesn't want to see him, but until Torterra looks at Ash, knowing that this is exactly what he wants. And without motion, Torterra begins to roar, and its ability to overgrow begins to kick in, and Ash begins to take his head around the other side of his head. But you're not the only Pokemon that is empowered with their own ability, as Ash commands for a powerful energy ball, and Infernape is quite angry because he has beaten Torterra countless times. Even though he had him beat just for the one time, he will never have that happen again. As Torterra shoots out multiple energy balls, forcing Infernape to deal with them by actively using flabbits to smack them away, as Torterra is beginning to feel the poison, but his overgrowth is allowing Torterra to stay in the bed a bit longer, and thanks to the Genki Train that he did before allowing him to stay a bit longer, as Torterra then begins to unleash the strongest earthquake that he could ever done, as Torterra simply slammed all his four-legged to the ground as he caused a massive earthquake into the arena to the point it shook the arena just a bit, and by this doesn't stop Infernape with a powerful flare blades as the two Pokemon collide, as two Pokemon fell unconscious, but unfortunately as the two struggles to stand up. But even though Torterra has been fighting hard, and especially fighting through a poison, until Infernape couldn't realize he couldn't do it anymore. Infernape has been using Flare Blade so much, even though it's the strongest fire type, but it's also eating him at his stamina, leaving Infernape to be knocked out. As Paul suddenly looks at Infernape and looks upon Torterra as he still gets up, as the referee calls out that Ash is the winner, leaving everyone to be stunned. Once Ash quickly rushes to Torterra as he cheers for Torterra to finally beat Infernape once and for all, and Paul is just quietly returning back Infernape and kinda staring at it, going through his mind what just happened. He had every calculation perfectly for Infernape to win that battle, but apparently Infernape's his battle start seems to count counter itself at the end, if only if Hawk gets Infernape to preserve his health mode and decides on spamming Blazer, thinking that it will be enough to take Torterra, but apparently the Pokemon has more endurance than expected. As Paul just simply walks out the arena, and even the point where he's about to leave the league, as Ash quickly stops Paul. And why is he leaving already? Is he not going to watch the other battles? And Paul just simply said it's a waste of time because he's already planning out for his next destination. And Ash is asking would that be Brandon, and Paul simply nodded because he needs to know if Paul has improved or not, as he is much more clarified that he doesn't want to be Brandon, he just wants to wants to do better than the last performance that he did. And Paul and Ash quickly silently nodded, knowing that as Ash simply asked Paul that even though it's kinda messed up how Paul cheated, but ultimately Infernape wanted the way how Paul during out this training. Even Ash has to admit it wasn't mostly Paul that Infernape how he ended up becoming. It also that it was because Infernape kinda wanted the power, and but Ash is quickly asking then what he's going to do in Infernape if he's no longer able to be the strongest, and Paul isn't sure about it, but he's going to find it out together as Paul simply walks off as Ash is quietly watching Paul leaving. And that's where we're gonna end the episode, the whole what if here. And I know you guys are asking to continue on this what if, but realistically in the other original series, Ash did, when he did had Infernape, he barely used him throughout the other region, to the point where it's not important until Johnny, and that's way later.
So I'm just going to wrap up in Ash's spot of the what if Infernape, but not completely a bad complete but it's only for Ash, not for Infernape in particularly. Until we meet again, make sure you leave a like, subscribe, and leave a notification until the next upload. Until keep it peace.